Shalom, 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 shalom. I have thoroughly enjoyed this series on salvation and whether this is a matter of salvation. And prayerfully, we laid out some truths that will make a person or make you study. And if you have been studying them, hopefully these truths have encouraged you and have given you some confidence in talking to people when it comes to turning to our covenant and turning back to the law, statutes, and the commandments, because that is also a part of our salvation. Okay, or part of our deliverance. I'll use that term because that's the base level of salvation that I was dealing with. But now I want to talk about our King. I want to talk about our great King, Yahushua HaMashiach, who is our great deliverer, all right? So he is a king. He is our king. He is the King of kings and the master of masters. I need you just for the time, matter of fact, I need you just forever. Move him out of that little baby, out of that little manger scene. You got to move him out of that European little manger scene and realize, you know, if I had my slides, I would show you. Realize he's king. He's the King of kings and master of masters. Okay. Deliverance in the mind of the Hebrews who wrote the Bible, my uncle, your cousins, and our grandparents who wrote the Bible. Deliverance or salvation was always deliverance. Always. This is what they thought. So, whenever there was a king, that king had one primary responsibility toward the house of Israel, and that was to deliver them from their enemies round about. In order to be king, that king had to participate in the deliverance of the house of Israel. All right? I need you to really get that in your head. So the very first king that we had was Saul. Right? Come on. Roll with the moray. Very first king we had. And what did he do? He had to go fight. And he fought the enemies of Israel to deliver Israel from their hands. And he was a cold dude too. Don't ever get that twisted. He had his problems later on, but Solomon and David, I mean, wow. King Saul and Jonathan. Even when David eulogized Saul, he said, them two in battle, it wasn't that nice to contend with. So that was his job. And of course, everybody knows the story of Abimelech and how he did not utterly destroy. That's where we get that famous verse that says, when he said, well, I was going to keep these sheep and things for sacrifice unto Yah. And that's when Samuel told Saul, he was like, obedience is better than sacrifice. That's where that verse comes from. That's where that scene comes from. It came from our very first king, who thought that sacrificing was greater than obedience. But at the same time, we understood that it was that salvation and deliverance was a matter of our king would lead us into battle, and then being obedient to Yah would bring success and deliverance. And of course, for Israel, primarily in the promised land, we wanted to be delivered from the enemies round about us so that we could be at rest. We could enjoy shalom. Then the next king of Israel that we know about, everybody knows about, because there was actually one more in the middle, but we won't get to that right now, was Dawid. And what is King Dawid known for? See, now, now that I mentioned this, as a seer, driving in the truck, now when I mention it, all over the world, your mind went, man, he's a deliverer. Of course he is. The king. So what was his testimony to Saul? When remember the whole Goliath story? When he finally stood before Saul and told him, man, I'm going to fight Goliath because nobody out there want to fight. Because Goliath, right, there was basically threatening enslavement upon the house of Israel. And everybody was scared. So he was like, oh, let me get over Zion. He was like, when I was, as a young man, as a young boy, I was tending my father's sheep, right? And then you can see that he's going to say. And then there was a bear and a lion. And both of them I killed with my bare hands. I choked out the bear. I grabbed the lion by his mane, by his long hair, and I killed him. And I delivered the sheep. So remember, the mindset is still deliverance. In other words, he was trying to say, I brought salvation to the sheep more than once. And I delivered the sheep alive. And exactly what happened to that bear and what happened to that lion is going to happen to Goliath. I'm going to kill him. And do what? Deliver the house of Israel from the land of from the hand of the Philistines. So salvation means deliverance. There's no way around that. Now, how come David didn't just say, as king, how come he didn't just say, I'm a righteous man, I'm going to pray, I'm not going to do anything, I'm just going to pray that Yah kills the bear while the bear's eating the sheep. And if Yah want the sheep to live, that's on Yah. If he want them to die, that's on Yah. But I'm not getting ready to do nothing because salvation ain't by works, it's by grace. You see how you don't know what them words mean? You don't know what grace means, you don't know what salvation means because you can't have the two. The two don't go together in the English way of thinking to where grace means no work for deliverance and the word salvation literally means the work that's done to get you delivered. Can you imagine him telling Saul, man, I saw that lion come after them sheep and I got on my knees and I prayed, yeah, please, please save and rescue the sheep. He was like, no, I went out and killed the bear and I killed the lion. And I ain't gonna do a whole lot of praying when it comes to Goliath. Because he already threatening the Most High Yah. He already blaspheming. I ain't got to say a whole lot. I might just holler, in the name of Yah. I might just do that. I might just do that. I might not even call no 7-day fast, prayer meeting, none of that. I might just holler hallelujah on the way to the battlefield. But nevertheless, he gotta go. He gotta fight. He has to fight. So the deliverance of the house of Israel from the hand of Goliath and the Philistines was not just a matter of prayer. Yes, Yah led him to do what he did. Yes, it was Yah that no doubt guided that stone. But David had already become a master at the sling. And he also could fight with the sword and most likely stab everything else. Martial arts come from us, by the way. That's a whole other subject. But he had to fight. He had to do something in order to have deliverance. And he did. They went out and fought. And then we read the rest of the whole Bible all the way through. I can go from Solomon, and I can even show you through the wicked kings. And we could walk together, and I will show you that each of the kings of Israel was a king in expectation of deliverance from enemies that were around them, right? And there was never a time when we had a king and he was going to bring deliverance. There was never a time that we as a nation thought that we would get deliverance without any participation in the deliverance on our part. Never. We knew what that was all about. All right. Now, laying that foundation. Oh, I can't believe it. I'm at 11 minutes already. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and just put this out and we'll start another video. Having laid that foundation, that the expectation of our king was deliverance in all types of forms, but deliverance. When we open what the world calls the New Testament, we see a scene that we've never seen before. An Edomite is sitting on our throne. Roman soldiers are occupying our streets, and centurions are in authority and on parole in our neighborhoods. And we are oppressed on every side. When we open that Bible, we see what they call the New Testament. We see an evil, wicked, satanic king. We see an evil, wicked, satanic system. Then we are introduced to a group of evil, wicked scribes and evil, wicked Pharisees. And I could go on and on. It was a terrible situation. And in the midst of all of that, we have the news of a king. Where is he who was born king? Lord, don't do that. You know you ain't got time. You know you can't get to shouting right now while you driving. And he's born king of the Yehudim. So immediately as he is born king, it's just like every other king. It's the idea of deliverance. Now, you don't think Herod knew that? Herod knew that if there was someone born king and he's the illegitimate king, that king is going to kill him. That's what's going to happen. He knew it. So he was like, kill all the baby boys. I think it was 2 years old and under. Kill them. Why? Because I know what a king is about. A king is about deliverance. So because I am an illegitimate king and y'all talking about this boy born king, then we just, instead of trying to find him, we'll kill them all 2 years old and under. And it shows you how satanic he is. They're no different than this pagan world we live in today, and this European who has convinced our people to kill through abortion. What they call abortion was really murder, to murder the children because they are afraid of the Messiah. They have a Messiah complex. They have a fear of someone being born that's going to lead a revolution or rebellion ultimately against them. So their idea is kill the boys, and then we ain't gonna have to worry about that. Just kill them. So want you to understand that. You see that. It's important. So when Messiah was born, that was the fear. And so when he came back after leaving Egypt and he grew up and he began his ministry, one of the things that everybody kept wondering is, when is it getting ready to be on and cracking? When is he going to do what the king is supposed to do, which is deliver Israel? When is he going to do it? And Messiah was trying to tell them that I'm going to do it. I can't do it now. I can't do it right now. Why? Because you all didn't recognize me when I came. You didn't. And you didn't follow me when I came. I came to my own received them not. I ended up with a small group. And according to Torah, judgment have to start at home. In the house first. So the first thing our king, I'm still dealing with deliverance. The first thing our king had to teach his disciples was why he came. He said, first I gotta come for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. I gotta get the nation first. Why? Because they're going to participate in this deliverance. Talk more. What you mean? There's going to be, I got to show them their part. And the place was so wicked. And the place when he got here was so satanic. And the place was demon possessed, and sickness and diseases and leprosy and lies and tradition of man and oppression. It was such a terrible state when he got here that he literally told them that he came to give his life a ransom for many. And they couldn't understand that at that point. They thought he was just going to come here, guns blazing, and kill everybody. But he was trying to tell them, I can't do that. If I do that right now, I'm going to have to kill y'all too. Because you all are also in rebellion. And judgment has to begin at home. So instead of doing that, our king, and I'm definitely shortening this, our king takes the judgment of the nation on himself. It's like he said, yeah, I know you're gonna, I know I'm using two terms, you just stay with the more. It's as though he said, yeah, I know right now all Israel should die. Based on how they living, where they acting, the things that's going on right here. And he go on, he's like, they should die. I've come as the king, and look how they treated me. Yeah. But I will die for them. I'll take their punishment. I'll take their judgment upon myself. So when he came here and recognized the terrible state we were in, well, he already knew it. But when he came here, he died for us, so that y'all wouldn't have to kill all of us. I know. But does that death, which ratifies the covenant, but does that death free us from our responsibility to Torah and toward the commandments, or responsibility toward the nation, toward the kingdom? Does his death free us from that, or does his death grant us the right and the privilege to be called the sons of Him? Does his death allow us the opportunity to go from darkness into light so that we can continue to operate in darkness? You know how stupid that is? Do we continue breaking Torah because what Hamashiach did? Yah forbid. Is it a matter of salvation? Yes, everything we do. We would not have even had a chance as a nation of people if our king would not have first came and took the sin and the penalty of Israel upon himself. Because what we needed real bad was deliverance from our own self. We was tore up, y'all. Okay, I don't have time to talk about how bad Israel was. And so now for a person to reject our king after everything he did, this video is getting long. I'm gonna keep these videos short. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick up the next video right here. And we ain't gonna be asking that question too much longer, especially not the awakening remnant that's waking up all over the world. We're gonna understand something. Everything is a matter of salvation, especially when you line it up next to what our King has done for us on our behalf. Y'all hit the like button and share and subscribe and support the work. We appreciate it. Give me a chance to catch my breath. Oh, we owe our King, our King. He done so much for us. One love, Zion.